Skylit dimly.
Warning. This program is intended for adults of legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed and discussed. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Hey everybody, welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. My name's Andrew Pierce, and immodestly I must tell you, I fucking love whiskey. As always, I'm here with my good friend Joseph.
Well, that's me. Thanks, Andrew. I'm Joseph Limbaugh, and the thing about whiskey is I fucking love it. I fucking love whiskey.
Interesting.
Andrew, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes, we have a good friend of mine from work. He makes pipelines for feature films. He is a guitar nut, as I don't know if you can tell from what's behind him in that room there. He loves Raiders of the Lost Ark. We're going to get into why that is in a little bit. And he has an affinity for whiskey, Mr. Doug Sherman.
Oh, I too fucking love whiskey.
Wow.
I think
We are grateful. We are grateful to him because he supplied the whiskeys today.
He did, and we do not know what they are.
We don't know what they are. They're mystery whiskeys. They're just numbers is all they are. They're bottles with numbers, and we don't know what's in them.
That's how I bought them. So I don't know.
This mystery will never be solved. We're just gonna go. I liked number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
But can't buy it again. Yeah.
Got a Bev and ask for number 3. You know, we'll see.
Anyways, as always on this show, what we do is we drink the whiskeys, we sample them, we talk about them, we talk about whatever else comes up, and that's the show, and we love it, and we hope you love it because you love whiskey too. Why don't we kick off number 1? Let's go with bottle number 1. Like why wait?
Ooh, have it right here.
Miskies. I like that. Oh boy.
And as a hint, this one for the participating audience, this one's a lighter one. Warm up included with the mystery 5.
Do we have an ABV on this, or do you think that's too much of a giveaway?
We do. No, ABV on this one is 46.
It is delightfully sweet in an interesting way.
Yeah, like in a syrupy, thick way, not a sharp sweetness.
But like some citrus in there for sure, like a light citrus.
So this one comes with a little bit of a story. So my son, because of shows like this and societies like the ones we're part of, I gave him a little bit of a whiskey tour as he took interest. And this is his.
Can I just clarify? Is he 21?
He is 29.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to clarify.
He is more than of age, although he didn't take as much interest in whiskey until this one. And He went out and actually, this is the only one he has 2 bottles of. So he's already buying one bottle.
I could see why you would want to have 2 bottles of this. Like this nose is phenomenal. Like it's such a nice light, and it's got a little bit of a bite to it. Like it kind of smells like lemonade to me almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely love the.
It's familiar. It's familiar to me. This is an old friend. This is a nice caramel blanket. Caramel. That's where we're going. Should we go in?
Let's go.
Oh, that's nice. Wow, it's got more heat than I would have expected from like a
46.
Yeah.
6%. I think I do like the nose better. The nose is my favorite part of the 2 sensations. Like
I'm getting it back in the finish. I'm getting that nose back in the finish.
Yeah. The ending. Oh yeah.
This is a sandwich your mom made you, and even after you've eaten it, you can still feel her care.
It does remind me of like it's something from childhood, like dandelions, or playing outside where there's a lot of flowers, or like Halloween candy. Like you put your you have that big pumpkin, at the end of the night, and you can smell all the different sugars.
Yeah, it definitely has that sugary. It's got a good mouthfeel to it. If you don't swallow right away, just kind of hold it to the sides a little bit, kind of kind of chew it a little bit. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, my son, and when we reveal this, he has a certain affinity. Definitely, he has a tell for what he likes.
It's got that funk. It's got that funk in the middle.
Yeah.
From the chat, I want Thad's guess before it's revealed.
Right.
That's fair.
Seems fair, Matt. That funk. I know that funk.
It is very familiar.
I want to say it's a Speyside.
I'll give you a hint. It is not a Scotch.
You bastard! I'm way off already.
I don't. Liquor Connoisseur says it's a bourbon.
You think?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I guess it could be. I would be really surprised to find out this is a bourbon.
I would too. I will reveal to the audience I am not a fan of bourbon.
Yeah, I would say that this is like a whiskey from maybe like England or Ireland, maybe.
Ireland, the funk, maybe. Like this could be a Waterford, maybe. That funk.
I don't know. Thad, what do you think? What are your notes?
So I already know what this is because I have to know what it is because I've seen the pictures.
Just open them based on number. You didn't have to open them and look, did you?
I had to sort them in.
You have to prep them in. Yeah, okay, fine.
Long story short is I like this. I like this a lot. For me on the nose, I got some plums, some grapes, and pencils. I definitely agree with like the field of flowers. Like for me, it's like walking out in the door or walking out your front door during the springtime and you have all these blossoming flowers and trees around you. And definitely some sweetness on there. For me, the taste was a little too subtle for me to actually pick out much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because the finish is like quite astringent and bitter for me. But there's also some like slightly burnt wood, like not like charcoal, just like slightly burnt.
Well, I agree with the burnt wood comment for sure.
Yeah, like when you had a wood burning set as a kid and you would just like singe it, not really cook it. Yeah.
This might be a Japanese whiskey, although I would not be able to say which it is. You don't think so?
Irish.
I think it could be.
It could be, I guess, but I'm leaning Irish. Like that funk. The funk is something that I just don't think they can get rid of in Ireland. Whereas I think most Scotches do get past it. Oh, liqueur connoisseur is guessing Teeling. And he's not sampling it, so.
And tequila. Well, that was the other guess that this is a tequila.
He's a detective. The guy's a detective.
Tequila, huh?
Yeah,
I don't think it's a tequila.
No,
I think it's a whiskey, right?
It's a whiskey. It's all whiskey because we fucking love whiskey.
That's true. But you would really mess with us if you found like some other liquor.
I would not.
Like
I would. This is the greatest thing ever, and I'm like, it's a gin. No, it is all whiskey.
I feel like we would be able to get that.
And I will.
I hope Doug throws you a Drambuie.
Japanese whiskey.
What's that?
It is a Japanese whiskey.
It is.
I was right.
Yeah.
Now, are we certain it's Japanese whiskey? It's not one of these Japanese distilleries that just imports stuff from Scotland, bottles it and sends it out.
That is a good question. That I don't know the origin story on as well. I just know that my son and his wife love Japanese whiskeys. I gave them the full tour multiple times of all the stuff I have, and I have quite a bit. And I blinded them just to see if they could, tell the difference. And every time they always pick the Japanese whiskeys. And this was their favorite so much that they couldn't find it locally. And he drove to another city to go get them.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I should start with this one. I like it too, but his wife loved this one. So, and they're big Japanese whiskey connoisseurs. So they're building their collection. They have quite a few different ones.
Yeah, both that sweetness and that funk are things that I have found in Japanese whiskeys that you were talking about, Andrew. Also, like the lightness of the sweetness. Like a lot of Japanese whiskeys have this light sweetness to them.
I always like Japanese whiskey as starters. Like I usually, if I do warm-ups, it's with a Nika coffee grain or one of the Centauri stuff. It's just it's always just
a little bit of chocolate in there now.
Yeah, and I just they're always a good starter for me. So I forgot what the heck. I'll throw a Japanese one in here to start it off.
With
what is it? We should. It's pretty good with water. We should find out what it is now. I think.
You should reveal it.
Reveal it.
Reveal the picture.
We have to wait for the delay. There it is. Hatozaki
small batch. And it's findable at K&L, or it was there. I don't know that it's there anymore. It's apparently it's in other cities if you can find it, but it's really good. It's like I said, my son's favorite Japanese whiskey.
Yeah, I would say this is my favorite whiskey. Like I could definitely put this on the favorite whiskey list.
Wow.
That nose is so phenomenal.
Yeah, I love the nose.
Nose is fantastic. That funk kind of puts it just below my favorite whiskey.
I like the funk, and honestly, like if I took a little bit of a bigger sip, and I like it more. Like if you take a bigger sip and hold it longer, it really kind of nails something very special.
I would like to try this side by each with the Waterford though, because I find a lot of similarities in it for me. But
yeah, that Waterford was pretty sharp. And yeah, I'm a lover of I'm definitely a lover of the Irish whiskeys too. But I will give you a hint that all 4 of the rest of these are scotches. So
you shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that.
We would have been all over the map.
Yeah, because you know what, I would have been like, we'd have been guessing that's a Hawaiian whiskey. I just know it. Really throwing us for a loop.
Oh, you still have.
Do they have Hawaiian whiskey? I mean, they must, right? I've had Hawaiian Moonshine, but that was just like Everclear, like it was flavorless alcohol.
Right. I mean, they've got enough rainfall; they could definitely do it if they had they'd have to import the grain though, for certain. How does everyone feel about the fact that I fucking love whiskey? I mean, but going on to number 2.
We should, because we have 5, so we have to go.
We have to go a little faster on these.
A little faster.
Let's do it.
Hawaiian Moonshine made with honey.
Also, a little bit of a lighter color here. I got an interesting color scheme. Kind of goes.
Yeah.
I feel like this is slightly darker than the last one.
It is slightly darker.
Just a titch. Yeah, the first one is almost clear. This is at least got a little grass to it.
Well, I mean, that definitely noses more like Scotch.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't reveal that part, but
I would have guessed. I would have expected this to be a Scotch based on the nose.
But this has got a subtle peat to it in my mind right now.
I mean, yeah, it does smell like there's a peat in here.
And it smells like a Kolila peat. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Like kind of almost tire fire peat.
Smoky sort of campfire, or like a very rare Lafroig that's like a like the one what was it, Sovereign Lafroig that was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the more I nose it, the more the peat comes out. But at first it was very shy, which kind of aligns with what a Kolila gives me. So right off the bat, I went right to a distillery.
But I don't think this is like an Isla peat. I think this is like a peat from. No, I think it's a peat from like to the east. That's what I think, because it is a very.
It could be.
Although Doug, didn't he said there was like, didn't he say there was no peats in here, or there was like he was not putting many peat? I feel like before we started this, he said there's no peats. Nothing's peaty, but you know.
I don't think I heard that. Well, at least I don't remember that. Because this has got to have peat in it. It does smell like there's peat. A Ben Rayek. Ben Rayek.
Sometimes I will, but sometimes I will think there's peat in something, even though there isn't peat in it, just because of that smoky.
Right. This might be psychosomatic here as well.
Yeah.
All right. Going in?
Yeah.
Right.
Pick up the pace here. My favorite whiskey. I love this. I love this.
Oh my God.
I love
delightfully savory. What an awesome, it's like gravy, or like, it's like a meal. It's like a rich buttery bite of duck, or like, I feel like I ate the most, like what pork belly, like the just fatty.
It's been sauteed and sitting in it just
Oh. And the finish, it just keeps going. Yeah. It's like it's coated my mouth and throat with like gravy flavor, or just like delicious savoriness. Oh my God.
I love this one. And this one I don't know that you guys have had. This one I found on a whim in a non-Canel store.
As opposed to the last one, like I and this is surprising because like I like the taste better than the nose. Like I still like the nose, and I also like going back to the nose. Like it's usually like what I do is I'll nose it and then I'll take a sip, and then the second time I get to the nose, it's great. But this time I'm like, it's good, but I liked the nose before I tasted it more than, and I just want to sip it again.
I'm liking it on the return to the nose. I'm getting more chocolate again.
I love the finish on this one.
Oh, this is
the finish is amazing. This is like one of the most amazing finishes I think I have ever had.
What a cracker! So it's peated. So, but you're saying not Isla. Like if I was going Isla, it would be Coliola. If I was going non-Isla, I'm thinking like
that was my guess that it wasn't, but it could be Isla. I mean, I don't know.
Ben Raker.
I don't think it is.
Talisker. It might be a Talisker.
I don't think it is. I think it's like a Highland peat or something, like
maybe like way Highland, like a Highland Park.
Maybe, yeah.
Napa, maybe.
This one, I'll give you the percentage. 46%, same percentage as the last one. So,
and so much smoother.
Yep.
This is so good.
Yeah.
This is. Oh, Matt's asking if this is my whiskey collection. It's not. This is the Quake up in Craigellachie. I wish this was my collection.
You have more bottles than that, Andrew.
I do, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just like there's that taste. It's such a flavor journey. I love the finish, but everything along the way is great. Like it's like it hits so many notes. Nothing, there's no weak point in the entire journey of that flavor.
Yeah, this
all gravy baby in the finish. Yeah. Thad, what do you think?
I just got to tasting it actually. I enjoy the nose this much on this. Like for me, it's savory. It's these are the whiskeys that I love to nose. Like it reminds me of like a smoked pork loin with the sweet glaze on top of it. It also reminds me of like walking into a log cabin interior. Like the cabin's fine. It's not on fire or anything. It's just you're there to relax.
Yeah.
Good oil on little timber.
Maybe like a log cabin in the rain.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
I definitely agree with the tie rubber. I definitely get a hint of there. And then for me, past that, there's like a weird hint, like the funk of a white cheddar. A sharp white cheddar. Like it's
I get that. Yeah.
Then for me, like the taste, I do enjoy the taste, but not as much as the nose. For me, the taste was quite smoky. There were some burned plastics in the taste for me. And then for me, the finish actually just kind of dies down and does nothing, but it does like after a long while, it makes your mouth like pucker, like you get from like drinking lemonade, and it makes you want to go back for more. So
yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think it's from? That?
Oh, he knows.
Oh, that's right. You know where it's from.
I actually don't know where this is from. So if I had to guess, I would actually guess Isla. If I had to guess.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as I'm
Maybe
smelling,
Highlands,
I'm kinda leaning,
but I'd be
I'm
shocked
leaning
if
back
it was
towards
Lowlands.
Kolila.
Yeah, Coley. It was the first hit that I got.
But I do feel like it could
It's
be
a-
Peaty Highlands.
It's a nice one. I just tried some water in it. I don't think it did anything to the nose. It gave me a bit of round on the tongue. If this is an Isla straight, I'm coming there. It just looked like a sovereign suddenly. And I'm like, oh dear.
Doug's like, I don't think you guys have had this.
That would have been a
Isla
great
straight.
Isla straight would have been a great one to pick.
If you're a monster.
It is not one of the 5.
No, I would appreciate it. I would so appreciate it if it was. It'd be so funny. Because we liked it, you know. It's good.
Well, I do feel like if this was Isla straight, I for sure would be this is from Isla, because that whiskey is so smoky peaty.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah,
for
sure.
a reveal?
I agree with that reaction, Andrew, with water on the taste.
Yeah. Don't.
Nah, I would.
It becomes
water was
extremely bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we got here? What is this?
I hate the 5-second delay. We have to wait to actually come through.
This is a brand that I really am fond of. I have quite a few bottles of this brand. And I know Andrew likes one particular bottle of it. It's not that bottle.
Gordan MacPhail. Yeah. Good independent bottler.
Yeah.
Can't read the name.
What is it?
It is a Leche, Gordan MacPhail.
Leche.
You know, that
makes sense.
what is it?
Makes a lot of sense.
Can't see it now because it's behind another box. The Guardians, not Guardians.
Of the Galaxy?
What? Chieftains. The Chieftains Leche that they came out a while ago was just the best. And so I should have gotten here.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of when I said Lefroy was the Chieftains Lefroy.
It was the
not because what did I say? Sovereign? No, I was thinking of the Chieftains Lefroy, that one Lefroy that was really good.
I've had really good luck with Leche.
Yeah, me too.
This Gordan MacPhail is a great 18 years, so it's just smooth enough and it's just really enjoyable. The ABV, I was like, I don't know. I tend to go for the more cask strength stuff, but this one held its own for being 46. I really liked it, so I was happy with it.
I'm gonna guess it's all gone now.
It's gone. This one I bought maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
But you know what? You can always get more Leche, and it seems like every bottle I get, I'm super happy with, especially the single cask stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing this with us, Doug.
I've been wanting to share this one for a while, and never had the chance. I was like, this would be a great chance to share the Leche. So
100%.
Yeah.
A little water to clear the palate.
So this is from
numero trois.
The Isle of Mole is where Leche is.
Number 3.
Yeah. Right. Sorry. Thank you.
And we're getting a little darker.
So Leche is not from Isla, it's from the Isle of Mole.
Isle of Mole, yeah, which is just north of Jura. Like it's all on the same island chain. It's
so what region is it in technically?
It would be called Highlands Island. So it's a Highlands.
Like I want to make a portmanteau of Highlands and Islands, but it's just Highlands and Islands. You can't when you swap them, it doesn't.
Ah, yes, let's go.
This is darker.
Here we go.
It's a bit darker. I'm gonna say this is like a sherry cask or
it's a sherry cask.
Yeah.
We know Doug loves his sherry.
So yeah, for those that don't know me, I'm a sucker for sherry.
Yeah, this is probably a space side, I'm gonna guess.
This is a dark chocolate. This is baker's chocolate.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of a Buna.
Oh, yeah.
but it's got like there's a rich, sweet, deep note in there. It's cloying, but not in a bad way.
No, it's this nugget, right? Just at the bottom, this big dark thing that's lurking.
Yep.
I feel like it's too decadent to even smell this. Like smelling it makes me feel like I'm gaining weight, or like I feel like I'm smelling myself getting diabetes right now. Is what it's so sweet in like a primal like taffy candy way.
I get the toffee as well. Yeah,
it's like someone just delivered a chocolate volcano cake to the table next to you for dessert, and they're just pouring the molten lava on top of it. Oh
yeah. It's when you bite into a dessert and you're like, I don't, this is almost too sweet for me to eat. Like that's how the nose is for me.
That dark baker's chocolate sweetness, like it's almost bitter. A little bit.
I don't know. I get more of like that like light toffee sort of or taffy sort of sweetness, like carnival.
Oh yeah, I get a little bit of that caramel apple kind of.
Yeah, like spun sugar, like really. It's where there is a deepness to it. Like there's the light sugar, but then there's also like really caramelized sugar. They're both in there.
Yeah. Oh boy. I you know what? Just on the nose alone, favorite whiskey. But I think we have to go in, don't we?
Try it.
We have to taste it, I guess.
Just pour us. I'm feeling embarrassed. People are seeing me enjoy this much.
Oh my God. It is like revealing. I do feel like we're revealing. It's like an intimate moment that people shouldn't be allowed to see, especially with this. Like this is like something from like a secret bedroom or something.
Yeah, this one's another one that I like to kind of hold it and chew it a little bit, and it's really flavorful.
Yeah, it reminds me. It's like I took a sip of the best Spanish coffee I have ever had. That's kind of what it's like. There's a restaurant that used to be a speakeasy in Portland, Oregon called Huber's. And they do this thing where they come over and they make the Spanish coffee at your table, and they catch it on fire and they do all this stuff. And it's like, that's an amazing Spanish coffee. This is like better than that, obviously, but it's that same sort of, it gives me some of the same sort of notes.
I don't want to run to conclusions here, but Glendronach is where I run to on that. I've had so many great sherry casks from them.
Mm-hmm. Glendronach definitely has a lot of really good sherry casks. I'm a fan of a lot of the sherry influenced distilleries.
We know.
This one in particular, I picked up on a flyer on a whim and was pleasantly surprised at it.
Huber's pours more Kahlua per seat than any other bar. Yeah, this also kind of reminds me of Kahlua. Like, if Kahlua was better than it is, if you took the essence of what made it delicious and multiplied it by 1,000, then.
So we're climbing up the ABV ladder here. We're at 54.9.
Yeah,
so not 55.
Oh man.
And this is definitely it's a single cask strength.
Like it's caught in my teeth after I drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know enough about like sherry casks. Like I would say Speyside and it's a sherry cask, but like I said, Abuna but that's just a shot in the dark. Like
this is one out of 196 bottles of this that ever existed.
196 out of
196.
Sherry butt?
Oh, is this an SMWS?
It is not an SMWS.
Huh.
I can get my old man glasses on here to read the details.
I mean, it's not like SMWS would be like, I could be able to tell that by nosing it or tasting it. Like, it's like.
There's a refill sherry hogshead. Cask number 598. Yeah, 196 bottles. And this is sold out. The tasty notes on here is cured meat aromas, complement rich prunes and ginger, sweet red raspberry. Flavors give way to sultanas and roasted coffee beans. A full finish with lingering bonfire embers and menthol.
So much my favorite whiskey. This is my favorite one of the lineup so far, for sure. Really, it's so good. Thad, what do you think? What are your notes on this?
Ooh, I really like this one. So for me on the nose, I definitely get like a sweet cough syrup on there. And then there's also like a weird kind of, I don't want to call it funk, but it reminds me of beef stroganoff. So like the culmination of like brown beef, noodle starch, salt water, sour cream, all tossed together. And then like there were like some weird, like not like earthy notes, but like a watery green vegetable like cucumber in there. And the nose was like alive and very sprightly for me. The taste for me, it was also sweet. Also a little bit of Sharpies in there, some red grapes, got a little bit of leather. And then got what I could only describe as air quotation marks of champagne, also known as Andre, in California.
I like your Sharpies note. I get that too.
Or Brute. It could also be Brute.
Yeah, I probably should have said Brute, but Andre was the last champagne that I've had.
All right. I think, should we reveal it? What do you think?
Almost. My only other guess is just because of the box that I'm kind of seeing right now would be a Scapa, which I took a flyer on as well, but I don't remember it being this good.
Yeah, this is out of my wheelhouse, but let's see what it is. Five seconds. You'll have to read. I can't see. My screen is too small to see what it is.
For that, it's a Gordan MacPhail Gold Series. It is a Ardmore.
Ardmore.
Yeah.
Ardmore.
And
would not have guessed that.
Because I have not had many of these. This may be the only one I have had of this. And I almost mistook it as an Altmore, which I love. And I was like, Ardmore, close enough. Let's try this. And I was pleasantly surprised. I actually went back to go get a second bottle of this, and they were long gone. So
we've had a couple of Ardmores on the show from SMWS here.
Well, which ones?
Tense Mysterious Suspense, Je suis boucheron et je vais bien. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Then an Exclusive Regions independent bottler, and not the Octave, but a Old Particular 10-year-old Ardmore. I think most of those were hogsheads, so ex-bourbon. Yeah, I don't know these guys with.
Yeah, I've not had a sherry cask Ardmore, I think, ever.
Yeah, me neither. So that's why this one definitely rang out to me. I actually bought this one special for the show. I wanted to get one that maybe was a newer one. And I figured since it was newer, I'm gonna go back and get another one. And then they were like, "No, they're gone, dude."
Yeah, this.
And then it's K&L exclusive, so K&L says they're gone. But
Matt, je suis canadien, bien sûr, je parle français, juste un peu.
Yeah, Andrew says he's Canadian, so he does speak French a little bit. Is the answer to that?
La translation.
You're welcome. D'accord.
I
I forget how to say you're welcome. Wait, you want more cheese?
Yes. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. I thought, isn't that thank you very much?
Yeah. What did you say?
What? How do you say you're welcome?
De rien. It's nothing.
All right. De rien. Yeah. I took 2 years of French in high school.
I started learning French from Catholic nuns when I was 4 years old. You don't know terror. you don't know Tara.
I do know Tara. She's great. I like Tara.
Tara's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have 2 more whiskeys, and I don't want to move on. This is so good. Did anyone put water in this? Did you put water in it? Did anyone do that?
I did, and you know what? As usual, don't put water in it.
I wouldn't put water.
Hold on. On the nose.
Oh wait.
The nose with water. Taste. Yeah, don't do it for the taste. But on the nose, I got deviled eggs, which I love the smell of. A lot of people hate, but if you like that smell,
I do.
It might be worth a try.
I don't know. I guess if you like that.
I like deviled eggs. Who doesn't like deviled eggs?
Definitely the taste of that water, though. Next one you may want to try with water. Is a hint ahead, but
is that a hint?
You don't know terroir.
Are you hinting us?
I am hinting you. I'm hinting.
Like that's gonna help me at all.
Right. Oh, it's only the whiskeys that taste good with water in them. Okay, that's down.
Yeah.
So number 4, the story with this one is I went into Canal and said I'm going to do this show. What would you guys recommend? And they picked this bottle. And the guy that was checking me out at the register, to be clear, was saying he had just had a great golf game. And this was a big hit on the course that he took it with him. So and everyone was like head nodding as I was walking out with it, which on the shelf, honestly, I wouldn't have picked it. So
Liquor Connoisseur says, did you give them a price point to aim for, or did you just say, I'm doing the show, sky's the limit? Like,
your best.
I'm gonna write you a blank check and you just hand me the bottle.
Just handed him the credit card and closed my eyes. It's kind of how that went. To this day, I'm not sure what it cost.
Well, when you have to pay your mortgage next month, you'll find out. It'll be a challenge. It'll be painful.
I love this nose.
I haven't smelled it yet. Oh, that's interesting.
This is one I could sit in.
This is also a little bit darker.
It is darker. It's a little lighter than the other one, but it's definitely on the darker side.
We also know another data point. This is something golfers would like. So.
This is something greatly
water, yes. Golfers would like it.
Right? Mortgage the guitars.
That's right. If I have to. It's all for the love of whiskey.
What is this?
Wow, yes.
Oh, this has some interesting stuff in it that's surprising to me. Like it's
bath water in a good way.
With like those little bubbles, those little bath soaps, right? The old school ones that kind of smell like cloves
that old school pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you just pour it as the faucet's on and I agree.
Is it from Dufftown?
It could be. Who knows?
Honestly, this does it does smell like a bourbon to me. Like it has some bourbon notes in it.
Yeah, that kind of vanilla.
Like a fancy, nice bourbon. It kind of smells like a fancy, nice bourbon. I mean, I know it's a scotch because Doug said these are scotches, but
these are scotches. I ruined that part of it. However,
unless he was playing with her head.
But like, I mean, a lot of scotches are, obviously matured in bourbon barrels. So. Yeah, it's hard for me to get off of how much this smells like a fancy scotch, a fancy bourbon, Oh, that's interesting.
This one,
the first fill barrel.
Let's see where this one clocks in. It is a cask strength. We're up to 59.2 now on the ABV Richter scale, so almost hitting 60.
The ABV Richter scale.
We're getting a little shaken here.
I mean, you might be smelling other things, but I'm getting notes of I fucking love whiskey. Come on, what is that? What is that? What is that?
And this may be one.
Water is just kind of like the side note.
I smell the ocean a bit, like in a. Flowers.
A little bit.
But like a stylized version of the ocean, like the ocean, like you would imagine it smells like, or like the ocean in Hawaii or somewhere on a tropical island.
Yeah, I get
where
that.
there's like a lot of like floral scent there.
Yeah, a lot of
very,
good
very
currents.
clean.
Current carrying.
None of those.
Yeah,
none of those like rotted or seaweed smells.
No sewage, LA.
None of that.
None of the dead bodies in tin. None of that.
This isn't a New York ocean. It's not an LA ocean.
All right, I'm going in.
All right.
That's a cracker.
I swear to God, I just took a sip of like a really, like, I know it's a scotch and a bourbon wouldn't be this good, but it's like I took a sip of really awesome bourbon.
Yeah, I'm getting like cinnamon, paprika, maybe. It's really spicy and alive.
It's spicy, which is why I was fourth in the lineup. I didn't, at looking at it, I didn't think it would be this deep in, but it's spicy.
Yeah, it is one of the cool things about Scotch, since they mature it in bourbon casks. Like, it takes all the best stuff from bourbon and gets rid of all the stuff I don't like. Like, it's sweet, but not overpowering. You know what I mean? Like, it's still got some savory notes,
corn sweetness in it. It's just like the memories of those. Oh boy! Wow.
Yeah,
cinnamon, maybe some spearmint.
Yeah, almost like a gum. But then that spice on the finish.
Yeah, cloves, a little bit of cloves.
Even tamale sort of.
Yeah, or cumin.
Doug knows her palates.
Yeah, this is it's another one though. I went back and forth between this one and one that was similar to this, and in the same way, it had the same. Wow, I wouldn't have known. I would have grabbed it off the shelf. There's a Deanston's that that I baked it off, and my son happened to be over, and I'm like, I know you're a Japanese whiskey fan, but do me a favor, compare this against the Deanston's. There's a huge Deanston's fan, because I normally would never pick a Deanston's, and this isn't a Deanston's, but he's like, wow, this one is better than the one you're going to throw in there. You should throw this one in here. They were right at the store. I was like, okay. And he's pretty picky when it comes to these. He's not as big a fan. I found with water, it opens it up a little bit.
More sip before I go there.
But
yeah,
be advised, it may not. Some people like that before this of the five. This was the one that I thought took water okay, but
we're pretty high up in ABV too.
We are.
Like water becomes more.
Mamma mia. Yeah. Like, Doug. So what's the love with Raiders of the Lost?
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, I know I had to put that on there. So Raiders of the Lost Ark is responsible for just about everything in my career, I think. As a little kid, I went to go see that on a whim and had no idea what it was. I remember my dad taking me to see that, and it was a life-changing thing. I love that movie so much. That day I was like, I don't care what I do in life, it has to be film, some part of film and archaeology.
and archaeology. Wow.
So the little kid that I was, I made little movies and entered film contests and won a few, and I was like, this is going to be my life. I'm going to end up in film, which, working with you, obviously we know we're in the film trade. I bounced around a lot of film places. I love filmmaking. It's like my favorite thing. So when I went to film school, ironically, my minor is in archaeology. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I have lots of trinkets around the house. I love going to places. Where did we go? Right before COVID, we went. It was like a dream thing. We went to south of Mexico, and it was sort of a half uncovered village with the pyramids and stuff kind of half sticking out, and everything in the front part of that area of Mexico is all sort of roped off. This was one of these, go for it, just wander, but be careful. And it was just this incredible experience walking through. And the only thing we didn't do is we peered in. It was literally out of the movie. Like there's this long, dark, cavernous part of thing that they hadn't taken all the vines and everything out of. And they're like, well, you can go in there. There's a lot of bats in there though. And we're like, no, it's all right. Well,
yeah. Bats.
Also, you got to watch out for the triangle shaped stones.
That's what my instincts were like. I had to figure out how to, but yeah, that's a passion of mine. I love all things.
Doug, how many traps have you disarmed?
I've disarmed quite a few, but everything belongs in a museum. I have done my duty to
unless it's not it's in a museum in the wrong culture. Then
that is true.
Go to a museum in the proper culture.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Just definitely those two things have stuck with me. I've loved that movie to death.
Whiskey Enthusiast has a really good joke about archaeologists. Maybe he'll put it in the chat.
This nose with the water, the nose, I do like what it does. Open it up. It is exactly what you expect water to do. Because before it was like now it's like hey.
Now I'll hint to you a little more on.
Are we going to guess what this is?
So it is not it spent so much life in a bourbon cask. It is a wine cask, actually. And I go back and forth.
No way.
Casks. Yeah,
it's a wine cask.
It is a wine cask.
Okay, so
oh my God.
If you guys know my sweet tooth for scotches, wine sometimes qualifies in there. It's iffy. Sometimes it can come off kind of.
This has to be like a fortified wine, though. It's so sweet.
Yeah,
like
it is a charred wine hogshead. It is single cask, bottle number 137. Trying to see if how many. Doesn't say how many.
What kind of wine is it? Is it a red wine, a white wine? Can you tell us that?
It does not say.
I would go like wine hogshead. Dessert wine.
I feel like this is a port or some sort of fortified wine. I feel like this isn't like a. It doesn't have those dry notes that you get from like. I think.
Like as soon as I hear wine cask, I think Brook-Laddie.
It is a red wine cask.
But
really?
Oh, I guess there's a little bit of redness to that.
It's a red wine cask that was charred, and that's what it's pretty positively reviewed on K&L. David OG really talks it up, and him saying he's not much of a wine finish fan, but really took to this one. So K&L bought these up, and like I said, those guys were all over this one, and I really enjoyed it. I just took a random flyer on it. This is one you can still get. They're running down pretty. I'm looking at the numbers. It was in the couple hundred. It is now down to 40.
Well, after this show and our viewers, like they'll snap those up.
So this will be one of the few that I've had here that you can still get. But yeah, they were all over this one, and I enjoyed it. Didn't know.
All right.
No idea what to expect from this one, so I thought it'd be fun to try together. So
Andrew's on the phone right now with his whiskey supplier. Andrew, you have any more guesses?
This is
you're muted. You muted yourself while you talk to the
Brook-Laddie's the only one that I can think of that does the red wine cask so frequently, but it could also be a Springbank.
This is a distillery you have had before.
Well, that
doesn't narrow it down.
It's a given. Have narrowed it down to maybe 100.
That golfers have had before.
Oh, golfers like this too.
What about Thad? We haven't checked in with Thad on this.
Yeah, let's see what Thad thinks.
You're gonna hate yourself for not guessing this distillery, but what do I think of the whiskey?
Yes.
For me, on the nose, I do love this one. I think this is the best one that we've tried so far, for me at least. On the nose, I definitely get some store-bought apple juice, some pears, some erasers, an oak wood chest that you would store blankets in. lemon scented angel cake, and some melons. On the taste, I definitely agree with Andrew. I couldn't nail that down. Definitely not cantaloupe, maybe honeydew, because that's a lighter melon scent, but somewhere around there. For the taste, I definitely agree with Andrew though. I got juicy fruit gum, like right off the bat. Then it like transformed into a savory sweet cocktail that you would drink. And I got cinnamon and nutmeg that you would dust over rice pudding. And honeysuckles. And then with water, I'd say try it, honestly. With water on the nose, I definitely it brought out chili peppers, like chocolate dipped chili peppers. And on the taste, I got like Sprite, some rocks, and it made it more bitter. And then I decided to add more water to it, and it brought out more sweeter notes like brown sugars and Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, this one takes water well. I agree.
The heat in the finish kind of was diminished with the water.
It does. So if you like it spicy, no water. If you want it sweeter, definitely the water brings out the sweetness, which is why I love it. It's kind of a different, and it's hit and miss with me on wine finishes. I've had some that are just taste rotted, and some like this just really bright and juicy. And
it takes a skilled hand to kind of know just how long to keep it.
This isn't one I would have picked up. That's why I was like, I'm glad they suggested it, and it was just fun anyway because it was a blind for me. So
this doesn't look like a long road to me. This looks like another connoisseur's choice or something.
Where can whiskey enthusiasts find chocolate dipped chili peppers?
So I can't see the picture. Has it been revealed?
Oh, it has now. A Signatory. It's a Signatory. It is
a Linkwood.
Oh, a Linkwood. Yeah.
Links.
I don't have enough. Yeah. Oh, that's why golfers like it.
Oh, that was too good. That was too
True
good.
story though. They did take it on the golf course, but he goes, of course we had to do that because it's a Linkwood. We had to take it on the links. He goes, but we all thought it was amazing. So they're all going on and on about this thing.
Linkwood.
So, and I've had some Linkwoods that I've enjoyed before. So this is a good one. I really liked it.
Whiskey enthusiast, I would ask you this question: where can you find chocolate, and where can you find chili peppers?
Go to the nexus of those two things.
Yeah. The recipe might be simpler than you think.
There's now one less bottle at K&L.
Wow, I'm surprised there's only one less bottle and not five or two.
No, I'm about to leave to Scotland tomorrow. I need to save my shekels.
But yes, this one has a few left going on at K&L.
Yeah, but wow, it's pretty good. Yeah, what does it say right now? Yeah, over 31 in the main warehouse. So you got some time.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a good one. 89 bucks.
Yeah, I really like this one. I was happy with the recommendation.
Oh, that's so good. And it's nice to have just like all I have to do is type K into my web browser and it goes to K&L.
That's right. They're about 100. 5. We were at 5.
We're 5, baby. That's
finale.
thing.
Here it is. Let's close this out before you all leave to Scotland.
It's a little paler. It's a little paler.
Yeah, we're going a little on the paler side.
What's our ABV here?
Yeah. Before you do that, so whiskey enthusiast couldn't remember the joke I was referring to, so I'm going to try and paraphrase it. I'll probably butcher it, but it was something like on a Reddit or something where someone typed in saying, "Hey, what amount of time does it take to make a difference between you being a grave robber and you being an archaeologist?" And then an archaeologist replied saying, "As an archaeologist, this makes me uncomfortable." And the guy replied, "Answer the question, grave robber." So that was the joke, which I thought was pretty damn good. Okay, let's go into this whiskey.
All right. ABV on this one is, we are past 60. We are at 60.7. So we're getting
this is like, you would think this is like a 40% or like the nose is so smooth.
Yes.
It's gentle.
Not showing you any of its alcohol.
Whatever this is, I'm going to say this has been in a cask for like, I don't know, 20 years, maybe at least 15. Like, I feel like this nose is so smooth. This has to be something that's been in a cask for a while.
It is a single cask.
What can we get? Can we find out how long it was in there?
We can. You guys want to know that?
Yeah, ABV and age doesn't seem like it's giving it much away.
It's not giving it.
Age is 5 years.
5 years. Man, I suck at this. Good thing I fucking love whiskey.
that is very true.
Well, it's also great to know that the age statement part of the whole, loving it isn't really that important.
Well, one of my
Joseph,
favorites.
you were close.
PC5.
I was. From an archaeological standpoint, I was close.
Yes,
that is true. That's true. It's for its half-life. You're. This one is this one for sure. I don't think anyone has had. This one I took a big chance on. Bought this some number of years ago.
No peat.
5 years, you're saying?
5 years.
Or is there peat? Wait.
I don't detect any peat in here.
Now I'm psychosomatically smelling peat. But
I mean, if there is, it's like way on the outside. Like it would definitely be like not an Isla peat.
No, I'm going right to.
Although now I'm second guessing myself. Like I what do I know about anything? Is this even Scotch? I don't know.
It may or may not be.
I'm getting like Highland Park. That kind of peat. That kind of really heathery, distant.
Yeah, I do feel like it is a Highland peat. If it is
Orkney peat.
I'm gonna taste it.
Let's taste it.
Yeah, there's probably just residual peat infused into the walls of my room. That's probably what I'm smelling.
Oh my God, that's my favorite whiskey. Holy shit. So once again, like the fact that this is a 5-year whiskey, that is so good.
I love this one so much.
That is so good. What?
Yeah. No. The thing is, I don't think I've ever tasted that before, and it makes it so hard to describe because whatever words I put to it are not going to do justice to what just happened.
Like there's a sweetness, and it has some of those sweet and funky notes that whiskeys have, but it's like adjacent to anything that I've ever tasted in such an interesting way. Like the funkiness is sweeter than it normally is, and the sweetness is not overly sweet. Like I
fucking love whiskey.
Yes.
This is a revelation.
And that was the goal for today. Was I try to get something kind of all places, all over the map. So you got to.
Doug, you nailed it, Doug. You fucking nailed it.
I tried my best. I wanted, because that's the thing I love about whiskey the most. I love the variety in it, and I just wanted to pull out some samples of stuff I enjoy that to me are just all over the place. That are just all different, but I still all comes back to I fucking love
if
this.
Whiskey Enthusiast or Kolya are in the chat and they're tasting this as well, and they have an idea of what the heck we're tasting, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, this is so surprising. Like this to me is this is exactly why I fucking love whiskey, is that surprise of like, what the hell are these flavors? What'd you just give me? Like, I know it's whiskey, but there's such interesting flavors in here.
Oh, this looks like SMWS.
It is
okay.
SMWS.
That is the only thing that would make me guess in SMWS, is that it's surprising, right? It has unique flavors.
Right.
Like that is the trademark.
Which makes it super hard to guess the distillery as well, because it's like, well, this might not be characteristic of this distillery.
Like this could be a Lefroy for all we know. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't think you've had this distillery before. So it's a newer distillery. It's only been around, I think, from reading about it, for less than a decade. It is the second bottle run of this, and there's only been 2 bottle runs of this in Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. This is the highest in their number for scotches. It's
oh boy, so it's up in like 135ish.
It's 149.
149
is 149.2.
If I had that page up, I could find it. What's that?
Ardmurchan?
Is this Rasse?
Ardmurchan.
Ardmurchan?
I think it's too to be Rasse.
It does, like, but that's a good guess, because this does remind me of like Rasse for sure.
Little sample bottle we had,
and it is definitely peated, and it has sherry in it. So it is is a 1-2 punch. My favorite combo of sherry and peat.
Sherry and peat.
Oh yeah, if it's up at 149,
So tasting a Scottish Highland wedding on a remote West Coast peninsula. Honeyed smoke, sweetness, briny with a lemony spiciness wise beyond its years. It is 149.2, 1 out of 663. It is a first fill ex-oloroso, but I said but. That's for Monique. And I love it. And I never.
And this is the name of it. The SMWS name is a Scottish wedding. Is that right?
It is Peaty Peninsula is its name.
Peaty Peninsula. My favorite cartoon.
Oh, Peaty Peninsula. So that would make me think Campbellton, but that's not a Highland. So
also, that's not really new, is it?
No.
Yeah, this is a new distillery.
Although
it's a new distillery. It's in the Highland area. And it's on a peninsula out there. I don't know if Thad can pull up like a imagery of it. It's on the Wikipedia. It shows kind of where it is, but I'd never heard of it before. And
I mean, I was like, whatever it is, I definitely want to get some of the other stuff they're making. This is really, really unique.
Yeah, it's good. And I looked to see if there's a 149.3, and there isn't. They've only made 2 releases of this, and then I have no idea when the first one was released, but I caught the second one on a whim. Well, I mean,
Torvig is on an island, so that wouldn't be called a peninsula. A new one on a peninsula was a new one in Arran, but that wouldn't be this.
I don't think you're going to know what it is. Let's just. I think we should just reveal it, unless Thad, you have a guess, or you already know.
Already guessed. I don't know the SMWS number codes, and I definitely don't know the new ones at all.
All right, let's see what it is.
Ardnamurchan.
Ardnamurchan.
Yeah. This one I'll butcher the name of, probably.
Ardnamurchan.
However it's pronounced, I love it. I wish I could find more of this.
Ardnamurchan.
But this is another one sadly long gone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, SMWS, it's, it opens at 10 a.m. and if you're not there by 10:30, you've missed it.
This one sold out quick. I grabbed this like right as it went up, and it was gone, and it was good. I was so happy I got it. Because the number 2, I was like, oh, it'd be fun to have something early from a new right. And I was not disappointed.
No, this is for 5 years old and their first kind of like outing. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Where's my Google Map link? I want to have.
While Andrew's doing that, let me just say to everybody, I fucking love whiskey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Corey's GoFundMe is in the link, so give some money to Corey because he needs it.
What peninsula is this on? Oh, so it's just north of the Isle of Mull. Wow, yeah, that's I had no idea there was a distillery up there.
I hadn't either.
Well, next year we're going to Tobermory, so we can take the ferry across over to Ardnamurchan.
Hopefully, I'll be there with you guys. I'm
oh man, I wonder if you'll be able to get like a bottle in the distillery.
They usually have distillery exclusive.
I would love to.
Are there some that don't do that?
Yes, there are some that do not do that.
This would be worth the visit, I think. It's fun. Yeah, rather new distillery that I think we're doing a good job so far.
Ad, what were your tasting notes on this one?
So right off the bat, I'm just gonna say for me, it's definitely a try with water. I definitely try it again with water. I'm not saying it makes it the greatest whiskey, but it brought out some notes that I liked for me. Without water, on the nose, I got some green olives, some savory like Maillard reaction going on, and then some homemade buttercream icing, a little bit of birch. I didn't really get the peatiness in there, like maybe, but it's not like punch you in the face peat at all. That's if there true. Is. Definitely a little bit of floral notes that I associated with tulips. some cream cheese in there as well. For the taste, I really enjoy the taste on this one, like a lot. Like it's very smooth. I'm surprised it's 5 years old. Like I wish I'd gotten a bottle of this.
Yeah, me too.
But like it's very smooth. I got cherries and matchsticks. And then on the finish, it was very mouth numbing for me. And even past that, it became like smoldering coals. And then with water on the nose, I got some pencils, some cleaned whiteboards, like a freshly cleaned whiteboard.
Yeah.
And then on the taste, I don't know why, but lemons, like just lemons, like kind of like candied lemons, if you will.
Yeah.
And Jim, they have tours. So next year, let's put it on the itinerary.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it to visit this place.
Yeah, it does. Now that you said that, Thad, it tastes like I get the taste of lemon heads.
Yes.
Did you tried it with water already? You said, yeah.
I haven't. No, I haven't tried it with water.
It takes water well too. Just like the fourth one, I feel 4 and 5 take water well. The other 3, I was like, but the 4 and 5 take water well.
Doug, while he's sniffing, let me just say thank you so much for sharing these with us. Like your goal completely, you nailed it. Like these are all so surprising and delicious. Like a really fun journey.
I'm a fan of the show. I love doing blinds. Glad you guys had me on. So glad you enjoyed them. It's always you guys drink so many different ones. It's hard to surprise you.
But
I did my best.
You did. I was very surprised.
I was very surprised. I don't think we came close to guessing any of them, really.
We came close to like 1 or 2. I think.
You guys.
I did say that one was Japanese.
You did say that one was
Japanese. I'll hang on to that.
I'll have to give you that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, this is what it's about. It's just there's so many whiskeys out there, and there's just only so many you can try. So it's nice to be able to share it. Yeah. So I enjoy sharing.
What do you think with water? You seem to like it with water. No, you don't like it with water. You don't like it with water. You don't like it with water.
I am missing what it was before. Terribly.
Huh. I've not put water in, so I guess I only have a little bit, so I'll just keep it. I'll keep it without water.
Ad might have a different opinion, but that was mine.
No, he did. He liked it with water.
I said I tried again with water to see if anything else came out with it. Like I'm not saying it's a winner, but it changes it enough that it's fun with water.
Yeah. You're saying it's like a lateral move for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
For me, it's a downward move. So I mean, and everyone's tastes are different. So
that's true. But
I'm not going to take the risk. I'm not going to take it because this is so good.
It is good.
It's so good. Oh.
So we're going to be off for a while. We're going to be not doing the show for a while because some people are going to be in Scotland. I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know why they're going to Scotland, but some people are going to Scotland.
Maybe they're bringing back bottles to taste in June. Maybe that's what they're doing. Now, do you support it?
I guess I do. I fucking support your trip to Scotland.
I fucking love you. Doug, thanks for being a guest on the show. Thank you, Outside In, for being such a tremendous host and supporting, a very diverse and wonderful group of people. Please like and subscribe in the thingamajig. Follow them on the socials. Also, Geek Filter, thank you for our graphics. Thad, thanks for being, a tech genius as well as the best tasting notes on the show.
They're great tasty notes.
Thank you guys for watching.
We didn't ask the question.
We didn't ask the question, Doug. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time, and we've had a certain amount of rapport, a certain amount of like finding out about each other, asking questions and whatnot. And if this is too personal, I do not want you to take it the wrong way. Well, it might be better if Joseph, because you don't know him, maybe it's better if you ask as kind of more of a stranger. Well, you met him a bit. You haven't met him as much as I have.
I don't know him as well. We don't have a backstory. All right. Doug, do you like whiskey?
I thought a lot about this. I pondered this. I fucking love whiskey.
It's funny that the show always seems to end that way, but it's always delightful. Just like whiskey. Whiskey is always whiskey, but it's always delightful.
It makes me happy every time. I've got nothing left to toast with here. I just there's a little tiny
bit. Give you some more.
I got a little of this Peninsula Pete left.
I was gonna say I got a little drop.
Hang on.
I'm gonna the drop.
Do that again. We can't go out with a toast with nothing. So
good.
Bonjour to your health. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
See you in June.
See you in June.
Keep trying.